Stay tuned for the latest message excerpt from Impact Church.
Okay, so there's a couple skills that I want to talk about today that I think, relationships, they pave the way into success in life, but these skills, I was trying to be like Pastor Carl and think of something like some clever alliteration, but the best I came up with was an acronym. And I guess think about this as bricks in a pathway, right? If you put each of these skills in the bricks, it's going to create a pathway. It's going to pave the way into healthy, successful relationships. So one of those is presence, or being present, authenticity, vulnerability, and expectation management. All the things that if you were to follow me around, you'd see I'm not awesome at. Just being honest, okay? I think I nail authenticity, but we'll talk about that. Oh, that's great. My pastor said she thinks I got that one, so I feel good. All right, I'm affirmed. I can keep going. All right, first one, presence. This is a skill set that I think if you tune into what God's doing inside of you, you're going to actually realize God is doing something in me to help me to be present in my relationships. And when we're talking about being present to people and developing the skill of presence, it's not actually always about physical proximity, although that can be really, really important. So there's this guy, his name's Nate Puccini. He's the executive pastor of Substance Church. I like to give credit where credit's due. But he said this. He said that distance creates distortion, and God's called us to close the gap in relationship to overcome the distortions by eliminating distance. And the thing that God did is he did that for us, right? He tried to communicate with us. There was a distance between us and God. We ran away from him and tried to hide when we sinned, and we became aware of our fallenness. And we said, you know what, God, you stay over there. I'm going to go hide behind my fig tree. And then, hundreds of years later, God tried to speak to the people, the Israelites in the wilderness. And what happened was he came and he showed up on a mountain. And they were so spooked. They were so messed up by what sin had done in their brain that when they saw the fire, instead of seeing love and glory and a call to be refined and transformed and brought back into the image and likeness of God, what they saw was a fire that was going to kill them. And they got scared, and they said, actually, Moses, we don't want to go anywhere near that mountain. You go do that for us. We're too scared. He's going to kill us. And their fear caused them to misinterpret God. So they had this distance between them, and the only way that God could get close enough to them was through the law and through the prophets. And the people themselves said, Moses, you be that go-between between us. So there was always a middleman. And the problem with the middleman is there's distortions. You never get the clear picture of who God really is when it's coming through the law, when it's coming through prophets. Just like I could never have a really good relationship with my wife if every time I wanted to talk to her, I called somebody up and said, hey, can you talk to my wife for me? You know what I mean? It's kind of like at school, pass the note. Will you date me? Yes or no? You know what I mean? And you hey, go get this letter to, I don't know. I never did that. I'm just saying, just being clear. But you know what I mean? It doesn't work. You need face-to-face. You need to be like in proximity with people. So God did this. We saw it in Philippians. That Jesus, he became made a man. He took on human likeness. He was found in appearance as a man. And not only did he come and be with us by taking on that earth suit, but it says he actually humbled himself, even to the point of death. He got so close to us that he actually entered into the nastiness of our situation. Isn't that amazing? Like, he didn't just come and walk with us, he walked with us in our problems. Even the worst problem that humanity faced, which was death. It's amazing. He was present with us, but he's also present to us. And that's a different kind of presentness that we also need to learn. Now, I am awesome at this. I can successfully spend time with you. I can be in a room with you. I can spend hours with you and not actually be there. We're sitting down together. We're sitting in the same room, but I'm somewhere else. I'm blessed with this ability. I think it's a gift. Some people appreciate it, my wife doesn't. There's actually people out there who, when you're with them, they actually want you to pay attention to them. Can you believe that? Those people exist. I married one. So I'm learning, and I've got the Holy Spirit, and I've got Jen to help me. Both are very eager to. And I appreciate it. But I'll tell you what, nothing communicates you matter to me as I'm willing to give you my time, but also my attention. You see, you want to be able to listen to people. You're not really with them if you're not really paying attention to them. So you can be present. You can come in and out of a building, per se. And you can be with people, but never really be present to them. It's possible. It's really possible, even in a gathering like this, to come in and out. just to come and not really be present to anybody, not even say hi or something like that. Do you know what I mean? Like, this works on every level. This is true on a big scale. This is true in our interpersonal and our closest relationships, unfortunately. So the Apostle Paul, he said to the Philippians, he said, "Join together in following my example, brothers and sisters, and do just as you've seen us model for you, and keep your eyes on those who live as we do." So in other words, he's saying, fix your attention on others. Let others fix their attention on you. Be present to people, not just with them. See, he was so present with them. He made his time matter so much that when he was present, they had a model to follow. But when he wasn't physically present, the impact of his presentness to them carried on. That's amazing, eh? That's so good. So what that means in real life is, I don't know, like if you've got kids or you've had an experience where you're married or you got friends, you got a friend circle and people are like, man, I never get to see you. Sometimes that happens in life, right? Sometimes you're busy, and that's okay. I mean, your vision in life should not be to be tied to the hip to somebody else. That kind of thing, it kind of breeds codependency. It's not really good, so what we're not advocating for is saying you need to be with somebody 24/7, but what I am saying is sometimes you have to plan to be with someone, and then when you are with that person, you need to make sure that you're present to them and not just with them. And when you're able to do that, and we're able to work on and develop this, it actually bears a lot of fruit. For Paul, it was actually so effective that he had such great confidence in this people. And he was like, you obeyed me when I was present. You're going to listen when I'm absent. Because I know that we've connected on a level because we've actually been together. And there's been some communication back and forth. So that's really cool, eh? Practically, it can involve things like you can develop like your active listening skills. If you want to get really practical and get down to the nuts and bolts of this, you can do things like that. You can do things like, for me, it's putting that down. Yeah, sometimes when I'm having a conversation, it's like, yep. But it's all good. You know what I mean? There's things you can do. And the Spirit of God is at work inside of us. And you know what? Sometimes when I'm not present with somebody, do you know why it is? It's often because I'm anxious about something. I'm worried about something. Something's on my mind. Something's going on. There's a problem I'm trying to solve, or there's something I'm trying to be somewhere else at the same time. And you know what? When you embrace the Jesus mindset, like Pastor Carl said, and you're able to put other people and their interests and their needs above your own, you can actually kind of let that stuff go, and you can be fully present. So I think it's in Philippians 2 where it talks about the peace of God that passes all understanding. Get filled with the peace of God, and you'll be able to live in the moment, and you don't have to escape it. And then you can be present with people. All right, so that's being present. Number 2, we want to talk about authenticity. And I think that everybody is searching for it. It's a bit of a buzzword, and I think that that's good because that means there's a buzz about it. We all want to be real. We want to have real connections and real relationships. Nobody wants to be in a phony scenario where everybody's being fake with them. I mean, collectively, I think we're all crying out for putting away the fake stuff, the fake news, the fake everything, and we want the truth. We want reality. We want reality in our relationships. And the thing with that is, though, that at the same time there's this cry for authenticity and reality, there's also, I don't think there's ever been a time before where we have so many forces and pressures have access to us, trying to shape us and mold us into something that we're not. See, that's true in relationships. That's true in just our society at large. It's true in our culture, through marketing, all sorts of stuff. But there's a couple problems with that. When you fail to be authentic and real in your relationships, that can actually be fatal to your relationship. Because really, if you think about it, you're not actually really connecting with somebody when you're not presenting who you really are. And that's not fair to the other person. What you're doing is you're giving them a caricature of maybe what you think they want you to be, or you're presenting what you want to be. But you're not actually presenting your real self. And eventually, that bubble's going to burst. You're either going to get sick and tired of it, and you're going to say, I can't do this anymore, and then the real you comes out, and everybody's like, whoa, where did that come from? And you're like, hey, that's just me. And the reality is it's because you haven't actually given yourself permission to breathe and be you. So we gotta be real. And honestly, keeping up facades, you just can't do it for long. I mean, eventually something's going to happen. You're going to let your guard down, or some sort of pressure or stress is going to come along, and bam, the real you is going to pop out. And that, I mean, it could be scary for the other person, but it's actually healthy. But it's better to not have to get there, right? It's better to not have to blow up. But here's the thing, authenticity. This is one of my own personal pet peeves, just saying this. Being authentic, I want to tell you what it's not. It's not a license to run around and demand your own way or just dump all your thoughts and all your feelings and all your opinions on everybody else. It's not a license to complain and criticize and make demands in the name of just being real. Is that okay? Yeah? Like, I don't know, like sometimes I used this example before, so I'm going to be very careful. Jen, I love your sweater. Let's pretend, though, that I had a bad day. Let's pretend she's really annoyed me. The dog, oh my goodness, this is a blouse, sorry. I don't even know what that means. And I say to Jen, like, I'm annoyed with her, and I'm like, your sweater looks kind of stupid. And then she's like, what? And I'm like, hey, just being real, just being honest. You know what I mean? There's ways that we use sometimes and hide behind this thing called authenticity when really it's just a way to make a thinly veiled criticism or to manipulate a little bit, just to try and get what you want just a little bit. Get that dig under there, you know. Just being real. That's not what authenticity is. It's actually got nothing to do with you imposing yourself on other people. So Philippians 2, 3, and 4 says, do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit. Rather, in humility, value others above yourselves, not looking out to your own interests, but each of you to the interests of others.